Arriving at the hotel, I was looking forward to this vacation. It has been about 3 years since I was in San Francisco. The last time was with my now ex-wife. This time I was going to be exploring this city on my own and at my own pace. I made my way to the front desk of the hotel to check in. I knew I was a couple of hours ahead of check-in time. I figured that I would be able to have them hold my bags and I could go grab something to eat. I was given a claim ticket and recommendations for a place to eat. I thanked her and headed to where she informed me the restaurant was. Arriving at the restaurant. It was a small place with some tables out front and some inside. Since I was alone, I decided to take a table inside. I really didn't need to have a big meal, just something to get me through the day. I looked through the menu and decided on a breakfast sandwich with some sausage and egg. The sandwich was really good and filled me up. After paying the bill, I headed back to look around at some of the areas that I remember from my last visit here. I walked toward the hotel and headed to the shops that were around the area. I noticed that some of the stores and restaurants were closed and were no longer in business. Looking across the bay, I could see Alcatraz prison through the fog. The Golden Gate Bridge was also shrouded in the fog. I made my way to Pier 39 and the shopping center. I walked through and went into a couple of shops to browse. I ended up checking out the sea lions lounging on the docks. It always draws a big crowd. Checking my phone, and I noticed that I had a text from the hotel to let me know that my room was ready. So I headed back to the hotel. Before I got to the hotel, I stopped into a store to pick up some snacks for later. Arriving back at the hotel, I was greeted by the same woman that I had asked to hold my bags. I didn't remember her name. I guess I was too caught up in how beautiful she was. She checked me in, and after giving her my ID and credit card, she asked me if I had a preference for what view I would like. Each room had a balcony. Some faced the street and others had great views of the bay. I decided on the view of the bay. She handed me back my credit card and handed me the room card. Since I was alone, there was no reason for a second one. She gave me instructions on how to get to my room. I thanked her, and after a second person brought my bags that were being held. I tipped him and headed to the elevator. Opening the door and bringing in my bags, I closed the door and opened the curtain to see what the view was. I could see that the fog still remained heavy and there was not much to see. I grabbed my phone to take a quick photo of the view on the balcony. Standing at the rail, I could see that you could easily see the room that are around and if anyone was also on the balcony. I didn't see anyone else. I went back in and closed the door to the balcony. I moved my bag and sat down on the couch. Being my first day, I didn't really have any set plans. I just figured I would rest up for a bit and then go back out to see the city again. I planned on a lot of walking. I could hear someone coming down the hall. Guess someone must be also checking in today. I was looking through the magazine on the table and could hear the sound of a couple of women talking next door. I heard the balcony door opening and the sound of the woman screaming out loud and being amazed by the view. I wanted to get up and go out but decided to just sit down and read the magazine. I could only hear two voices and not really make out what they were saying. Putting the magazine down, I headed to her bathroom. Guess breakfast was coming back. I checked the shower and was happy to see the renovation that they had made were really nice. After cleaning my hands, I decided to head back out. I made sure the balcony door was locked and then opened the door to the room at just the same time as the girls that were in the room next door. They looked to be about mid-20s. They said a quick hi and then headed to the elevator. I walked behind them, not moving as fast as them. But the view from behind was really nice. Both of them were wearing yoga pants. And believe me, they really had the body to wear them. I got to the elevators just as the door to one was opening. The girls, still chatting and giggling, entered and I stood to the side. Looking down at my phone, and I grabbed my camera from my pocket. It was a small digital camera, but it was really good. We made it down to the lobby without stopping. The girls exited and I was right behind, getting in the view. They stopped at the front desk and I headed out the door. Remembering the area, I decided to go to the left and go to the place where I remember the tour buses were. As I got to the corner, the girls suddenly came up to cross the street as well. The walk signaled come on and they decided to run a bit. I made my way across the street while still in awe of the view of the girls from behind. Also, the view from the front was very nice also. One girl was a brunette who had long hair and a bright smile. The other girl was definitely not a real redhead. Her eyebrows were a different color, but she still looked really good. In my head I was thinking what it would be like to be able to be with them. I figured that I was at least 12 years older than them. Stopping to take some photos and just enjoy the day, I see the two girls sitting on the bench taking a selfie. Both are looking so good. I proceed to walk past them and just look at them again. Since I came from the East Coast and the time difference was catching up with me, I decided to head back to the hotel and relax in the room. Opening the door to the hotel room, I decided to grab one of the drinks from the fridge and take in the view on the balcony. The fog was gone, so the view was now spectacular. Sipping on the soda, I heard the door next to my room open and then the light came on. Still on the balcony, I heard one of the girls saying that she was going to use the bathroom. The other opened the door to the balcony. I was sitting in the chair and I don't think she could see me unless she leaned over to see. The other girl came out with her and they both were against the railing and just looking out at the view. Just as I had done. I finished my drink and got up to go back into the room. The girls were now sitting in the chairs and talking. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but they were talking loudly. I was just about to go back onto the balcony when the girls went back in and closed the door. I locked the door and decided to lie down on the bed. I know it was early, but I was a little tired. Turning off the light and lying down, I decided to go to bed. I grabbed my shorts that I wear when I go to bed. I also do not wear any underwear also. I fell asleep really quickly, even with the girls' voices coming from next door. I jumped in the shower and still getting the sight of the girls' tits in my mind got me hard. I had to jack off to the vision and what it would be like to experience them up close and personal. After the shower, I proceeded to shave my face and to go grab a bite to eat. I knew there was a coffee shop on the second floor of the hotel. I quickly got dressed and headed downstairs. Didn't want to see the girls as I left. I purchased a breakfast of eggs and sausage and I got a side of bacon. I don't drink coffee, so I decided on an orange juice instead. I was checking out emails on my phone when I see the door to the cafe opened and it was the two girls next door. I tried to not be recognized, but it didn't help. Both girls walked over to my table and said, "Hello, I guess we met this morning under strange circumstances." I said, "Yeah," not the usual way that I would have thought. They introduced themselves to me and I had already known each other's name. Amanda and Sherry. I told them that my name was Steve and that I was on vacation after my bitter divorce. They were vacationing as well. They said, "We are meeting up with a few friends in a couple of days, we are part of the wedding party, Amanda is the maid of honor and I am going to be a bridesmaid." I said, "Well, I hope you have a great time in San Francisco." Both girls got up and said, "Thanks, we hope to see you later, Steve." I went back to my remaining breakfast and watched as they walked back to the door to leave. Both wearing yoga shorts this time. Amazing shaped asses on both. Enjoying my day and exploring some of the areas that I did the last time I was here. Up and down some big hills and visiting places that I wanted to. Still have the vision of the two girls' amazing tits in my mind. Trying to figure out how I could have a chance with them. After a long morning of walking and taking photos, I found a small spot to get something to eat. It was in the Little Italy part of the city. I decided on a chicken parm sandwich with a soda. The owner was a funny little guy who had a lot of fun making the sandwich. The place was a bit busy, but still I was able to find a seat at a table by the window. I ate and people watched out the window. I also took the time to look through the photos that I had taken that morning. I heard a voice from behind me say, "Those are some good photos, you have a great eye." I said, "Thank you," and I turned to see who was talking to me. I was totally amazed at how beautiful this woman was. She had dark hair that was about halfway down her back. She also had dark green eyes that looked like they were not real. I told her that my name was Steve. She said her name was Vanessa. We chatted for about 15 minutes about photos and how she was new to the city since moving here for a job. I told her that I was vacationing from Boston. She was from New Hampshire. Small world, isn't it? We talked about back home and she was very excited about living here and her new job. She looked at her phone and she said, "Oh, speaking of work, I need to get back from my lunch break." We exchanged numbers and she told me to call her later. I said, "Okay. I will." We both left the restaurant and walked in different directions. I enjoyed the view as she walked away. Something about a woman with a great body. I took my time to get back to my hotel to take a break. Laying down on the bed and I was just about to take a quick nap. It didn't last long. I heard the girls as they entered their room. They seemed to be quiet. So I went back to my nap. I didn't hear them and was able to get a good half-hour nap. I set a timer on my phone so that I would only get a half hour. I got up and went to the bathroom to take a piss. Just as I was washing my hands, I heard a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and it was one of the girls. I opened and Sherry was standing there and I invited her in. She apologized for the incident in the cafe this morning. I told her that I was okay. She thanked me and went back to her room. I closed the door and walked over to the balcony door and opened it to see the view. Standing there at the railing and just looking out and the fog that had lifted and being able to see the bridge and most of the bay was spectacular. I grabbed my camera and took a photo. I took a couple of photos from different angles. I heard the door to the girls' room open as well. I glanced over and it was Amanda. I nodded to her. We exchanged smiles. She was wearing the robe that she had flashed me with earlier. She looked like she had just gotten out of the shower. The robe didn't cover her all the way. I could see her tits and she was not trying to cover them up. I heard Sherry tell Amanda to come back into the room. Amanda's tits were spilling out of her robe and Sherry was trying to her to cover herself up. I remained on the balcony and I could hear everything. Amanda came back out onto the balcony and she opened her robe to fully expose her tits. She said, "Steve, do you think you could get hard seeing my tits?" I nodded yes. She opened her robe all the way and I could see her whole body. She looked amazing. I looked up and down her body and could see a nice landing strip of hair on her pussy. Sherry came out to get her to cover herself up. She refused. She said, "Look, he likes the way my body looks, his cock is so hard." I definitely was hard from seeing her naked. Amanda walked over to Sherry and pulled open her robe. She also had an amazing body. But her pussy was totally shaved. I wanted so bad to fuck both of them. Sherry told me to come next door so that she could see my now rock-hard cock. I walked to the door quickly and then into their room. Both girls were no longer wearing the robes. I couldn't believe that these two girls wanted to have sex with me. I quickly walked over to them and proceeded to explore their bodies. I wanted to lick both girls' pussies and make them both come. Sherry knelt down and pulled my pants down to expose my cock. She didn't hesitate to take it all into her mouth. I then felt Amanda licking my balls. I thought that I was going to come. Both girls got up and had me lay down on the bed and Sherry got on top and placed my cock into her pussy and she began riding me. I tried to match her thrusts. Amanda placed her pussy right over my face and I began to lick her pussy. She moaned. It was the same moan that I heard through the walls the other day. After a few minutes they changed positions, now Sherry was the one that I was licking. Her pussy looked so good, totally shaved. Amanda was bouncing up and down with a perfect rhythm. I knew there was no way I was not going to come. I know she could tell I was going to come. She got off my cock and placed it in her mouth and I shot my load deep in her mouth. She swallowed the whole load. I was still licking Sherry's pussy and she was also orgasming. We lay on the bed and I was exhausted. Both girls got up and went to the bathroom to shower off. I heard the water come on and the way the door was open I could see them get into the shower. I got up and walked over to the door to look at them soaping each other up. As I watched, Amanda picked up the soap and she rubbed it on her pussy, and Sherry grabbed a razor and took Amanda's landing strip of hair. So now both girls were totally shaved. I wanted to join in the fun, but I knew that the shower would not fit another person. As I went back into the room after seeing them in the shower, I just sat on the bed still naked. My cock was rock hard now. I looked over on the TV stand and my phone was ringing. I picked it up and didn't recognize the number. Only person that I gave my number to was Vanessa, whom I met at lunch. I answered and it was her. She told me that she was going to be meeting up with her friends. I told her it was okay, that we could plan something else. Amanda and Sherry came back out from the shower. I was just putting the phone down and Amanda asked, "Who were you talking to?" I tried to say that it was a wrong number, but she was not buying it. She grabbed my phone and looked at the number and she started laughing. I couldn't figure why she was laughing. She put my phone down and while still laughing she wanted to get Sherry. I was still naked on the bed and although no longer hard, I still was trying to figure out why she was laughing. A moment later and both girls walked back into the room and Amanda said, "How do you know Vanessa?" I was confused. How do you know who had just called me? I looked at my phone and there was no name attached to the number. She kept looking at me. I told her. I met her when I was eating lunch and she saw the photos on my phone and said she thought they were great. She also wanted to know if I could take photos of her. Amanda said, "Vanessa is our friend and we were going to be meeting up with her in our room soon." I had no idea that she was your friend. She just told me that she liked my photos and would like to have me take pictures of her. I sat on the bed and figured that I should get dressed and go back to my room. I picked up my pants and put them on without my underwear on and went next door. When I got back to my room, I jumped into the shower and then I realized that I had left my phone in the girls' room. I finished up and was about to get dressed and I heard a knock on the door. I looked through the peephole and it was Amanda. I opened the door and she handed me the phone and walked back to her room. I sat on the bed and just looked at my phone. I noticed something. It seems that the girls had taken some pictures of themselves while they had my phone. The photos that they took were really nice. Obviously a couple of selfies while naked. I am definitely keeping that one. Grabbing a drink from the mini fridge, I went out onto the balcony. The breeze was nice. I kept looking out at the bay and the bridge. Also trying to figure out if I was going to be meeting with Vanessa. I knew she was going to be coming to this hotel to meet up with Amanda and Sherry. I felt that I couldn't go out since I may see her coming in. So I just went back inside and sat quietly on the couch. Hearing a knock on the girls' door, I got up and looked through the peephole to see if I could see who it was. It looked like Vanessa. I walked back to the bed and looked through my phone again. Then I heard someone knock on my door. Getting up and looking through the peephole, I can see that it is Amanda and she is with Vanessa. I open the door and invite them in. I close the door and both girls have gone to sit on the bed. I walk towards them and sit on the chair next to the bed. Amanda was looking at me and she said, "We told Vanessa how big your dick is and she wants to see it." I was floored that she thinks that my dick was big. I mean, I knew it was more than average, but not huge. I looked at Vanessa and she was smiling and she said, "Please, let me see your dick." I couldn't say no to two beautiful women. So I undid my belt and proceeded to pull my pants down and expose my dick. I was not fully hard. Amanda walked over to me and got down on her knees and took my dick into her hands and proceeded to take my dick into her mouth and give me a blowjob. Vanessa soon joined her. I was being treated to two women pleasuring me. I could feel that I was going to shoot my load. Without warning, I came and my cum shot right onto both girls' faces. Both girls got up and began to lick the cum on each other's face. I was shocked to see them doing that. It was amazing. Then they cleaned up and started to head back to their room. I sat on the bed still with no pants on and my dick still dripping the last of the cum. Taking off my shirt to go to the bathroom to shower and clean up. not realizing that when the girls left my door did not close all the way. I turned around in the shower to see Vanessa standing just outside the shower, and she had the most amazing body. She was definitely not blessed to have big tits. But what she had was exceptional. She opened the shower door and proceeded to get in. She grabbed my dick and was stroking it. Water glistens off her body, and she also was completely shaved. It looked so smooth. She turned and bent over and took my dick and placed it against her pussy, rubbing her clit, and then I put my dick inside her pussy and she matched my thrusts. Water still flowing over us as we fucked. We fucked for what seemed like an eternity. And soon I was going to come. I tried to pull my dick out of her pussy, but she grabbed me to make sure I couldn't pull out. My load filled her pussy. My now limp dick slid out of her pussy and the cum began to leak out and onto the shower floor. We proceeded to clean up and get dried off and put on the robes. As we exited the bathroom, we saw that Amanda and Sherry were sitting on my bed, both also wearing the robes, although they had not tied them up. I now had 3 beautiful naked women in my room. I went from not having sex in over a year to multiple days of sex. Sherry and Amanda lay down on the bed and the robes just flowed to the side and exposed their bodies. Vanessa soon joined them on the bed. I couldn't believe how lucky I felt to be able to see the 3 of them together and wanted so badly to fuck each one of them. I walked over to the bed and one at a time I began to lick each of the girls' pussies. Then to fuck each one. I took turns fucking the girls. The girls got up and had me lay down on the bed and each one rode my dick. I could feel myself getting ready to come. I couldn't stop Amanda from riding me. And my load shot deep into her pussy. She was very happy to be getting her pussy filled. As she got off my dick, Sherry and Vanessa took turns cleaning up the cum that was on my dick. This has to be a dream come true for me. Going from an ex-wife who didn't like sex to fucking 3 women in the 2 days of my vacation. I grabbed my camera and took a couple of photos of the girls laying on the bed. Exceptional bodies and beautiful as well. The girls went back to their room. I remember waking up in the morning still completely naked. Still in disbelief that I had sex with the beautiful women. Jumping in the shower and then going to grab some food for breakfast. I had plans to go to Alcatraz for a tour. I headed to the location where the boat leaves for Alcatraz. It was a nice walk and the weather was great. I pulled out my phone and forgetting that I had taken a couple of pictures of the girls last night. First picture was of all 3 laying on the bed naked. I had to quickly make sure no one saw it. Especially any children. I moved the photos to a file so that I could view them later. Arriving on the island, we were gathered on the dock and then we walked up to where the tour would begin. I lined up to be given headphones to listen to the tour. Since this was my second time, I knew what to expect. I took a few pictures and a couple of videos of the cells being opened and closed. The sound of the cells when they opening and closing is very eerie. After the tour was done, you were able to go through the store to purchase items. I looked for a t-shirt and a magnet. After I completed my purchase, I headed back to the dock area to catch the boat back over. As we arrived back to the pier, I decided to grab a bite to eat. Stopped at Pier 39 and see the seals. Going through some shops, I didn't see anything that I wanted to buy. I walked back to the hotel to place the items that I bought in my suitcase. I made my way to the balcony and just relax. I pulled the chair up close to the railing so that I could put my legs up on it. The girls must have gone out since there was no noise or anything in their room. I pulled out my phone and looked through the photos that I had taken on the tour. I put the phone down and continued to look at the view. I could feel myself getting a little tired. I got up and walked back inside to lay down on the bed, setting an alarm so that I didn't sleep too long. Closing my eyes and getting in the nap. My alarm went off and I woke up refreshed. Heading downstairs to get something to eat. I remembered the burger place that was close to the hotel. I had just sat down and was getting ready to eat when I saw the girls come in. Now there was 4 of them. I didn't know who the other girl was. She definitely was turning some heads as she entered the restaurant. I saw Vanessa and she waved over to me. It was too loud for me to hear her. I continued to eat my burger. The girls were at the counter ordering and I was just about done with my dinner. I didn't want to be rude and get up and leave. So I waited for them to get their food and I walked over to them. They had gotten the stuff to go. I walked along with the girls. Not once did they offer to introduce me to the other girl. She just kept walking and we headed upstairs to our rooms. As we got off the elevator we walked to the room and the girls went into their room and didn't say anything to me. So I went into my room. Turning on the TV I sat on the couch and watched the TV. I could hear the girls next door. I somehow managed to fall asleep hearing them through the walls. Being to the sound of rain on the window. I got up and went to the window to see that there was a huge rainstorm. I walked away from the window and went to the bathroom to take a piss. Heading back to the bed and switching the TV on. Looking to see how long the rain may last. Flipping the channels to find the news and weather. Finally finding the right channel and finding out the rain was going to be a whole day thing. Thinking about what I could do today even with the rain. I looked through the brochure of the tours that I had picked up. I could still do a bus tour or just brave the rain and get out and see different places. I decided to jump into the shower and then grab some breakfast. I had just turned the shower on and was about to get in when I heard a knock on the door. I grabbed a towel and put it around my waist. I looked through the peephole to see who it is. All 4 girls were standing in the hallway and they were all wearing robes. I don't know where they got the other 2. But seeing them in the robes was exciting. I opened the door and the girls came in and without hesitation they grabbed my towel and threw it aside. I still didn't know who the other girl was. But Vanessa said to her. I told you that he had a big dick. Amanda and Sherry walked over to the other girl and told her to take my dick into her mouth and start giving me a blowjob. Looking down at this beautiful woman with my rock-hard dick in her mouth. Amanda got next to her and was sucking on my balls. I knew there was no way I was not going to come. Vanessa and Sherry were cheering on the new girl. She was doing a great job and I shot my load deep in her mouth. Cum filled her mouth and she swallowed my load of cum. Still sitting on the bed I couldn't believe that there were now 4 beautiful women in my room. Sherry was laughing and Amanda was shocked at the sight of her swallowing all of my cum. Vanessa was laying on the bed and her body looked so fucking good. Her shaved pussy was wet and I wanted to eat her pussy out so bad. My now limp cock that was just drained of all my semen. Was just hanging down. I got on my knees and I couldn't stop myself from wanting to lick her pussy so bad. The girl that had just sucked my cock dry got up and she went over to Amanda and took her robe and put it on and sat on the bed. I proceeded to lick Vanessa's pussy until she was orgasming and moaning for me to not stop. As I continued to pleasure Vanessa, the other girl mounted Vanessa's face and Vanessa started to lick her pussy. This was the best rainy day ever. My cock was now getting hard again. And I wanted to fuck Vanessa. I got up and started to rub my cock on her pussy lips and along her clit. I was rubbing my pre-cum on her pussy and sliding it up and down. I then inserted my cock in her pussy and thrust after thrust into her pussy. The other girl who I didn't even know her name was still having her pussy eating out by Vanessa as I fucked her. I had not noticed that Sherry had left the room and she just returned. She was coming up behind me. And she whispered to me that she wanted to fuck me. I was confused as I was still fucking Vanessa. Then I glanced over my shoulder and Sherry was wearing a strap-on dick and she had it lubed and ready. She had the perfect angle since I was still fucking Vanessa. She put that dildo right into my ass. I was surprised that it didn't hurt. She matched my thrusts as I fucked Vanessa. She was fucking my ass. The only one not being used was Amanda. She wanted to have my cock. But I was just thinking about Vanessa and how I was going to fill her pussy with my cum. As Sherry thrust the dildo into my ass, I proceeded to cum in Vanessa's pussy. She was moaning as I filled her pussy. My ass was being fucked and my cock was still inside Vanessa's pussy. As my cock slid out of her pussy, my ass was still being fucked. Amanda walked over and took my cock into her mouth and was taking whatever was left of my cum off my cock. Sherry continued to fuck my ass as Amanda was still trying to get all the rest of my cum out of my cock. It didn't take long for my cock to get hard also as she sucked it. She laid on the bed and took my cock and rubbed her clit with it and then put it in her pussy. As I was being fucked in my ass, I thrust my cock into Amanda's pussy. We were in sync as Sherry was fucking my ass, I was fucking Amanda. Sherry pulled out of my ass and put some more lube on the strap-on cock. Then she put it back into my ass and thrust harder. I continued to fuck Amanda and knew that I was going to come. She wanted my cum in her pussy like Vanessa did. I didn't disappoint her and shot my load deep in her pussy. My cock withdrew from her pussy and I was still being fucked in the ass. Sherry finally stopped fucking my ass and we all laid on the bed. I had filled 2 girls' pussy with my cum. Looking around the room, I noticed that the first girl that had come in and sucked my dick and swallowed all my cum was gone. Then a minute later, finding out that she was the bride-to-be and this was her bachelorette party. As we sat on the bed, Sherry was stroking my cock. Vanessa was watching and Amanda was texting on her phone. Then she started to take a video of me getting a hand job. Sherry took my cock into her mouth just as I was going to come. She managed to swallow my load. I got up to go to the bathroom to clean up. I heard the door open and it was the girl who was getting married. I could hear her talking to the other girls. Then I hear one of the girls say, "What did you do to your pussy hair?" I had put a towel around my waist as I exited the bathroom. She was standing there naked and she was crying, wondering how she could fix the mess she had done. Amanda looked at the other girls and the bride-to-be. And she said, "Looks like we need to shave it all off, and then you will have a nice clean shaved pussy like we all do." As we headed into the bathroom she kept talking and she said, "My fiancé has never seen me with a shaved pussy. I don't think he will like it." I had to speak up and say, "Oh, he is going to love it. Any man will be ready to go down on your pussy when it is bald." Opening my toiletries bag, I grabbed my razor and shaving cream. She was standing in front of me and her pussy hair that she had managed to screw up a simple design. I grabbed a washcloth and put some hot water on it and then placed the cloth on her pussy. Then I grabbed the shaving cream and put some on her pussy hair. Amanda picked up the razor and began to shave her pussy. Each girl took turns helping make her pussy bald. Her pussy was becoming more and more wet. She was looking at the girls shaving her and I was hoping to be the first to lick her bald pussy. As Vanessa finished her up and there was not a single hair left. We grabbed the washcloth again and cleaned up her now bald pussy. I couldn't resist and had to lick her pussy and make her come. We ended up walking out to the bed and we all took turns eating her bald pussy. I needed to fuck or have my cock sucked. Amanda was eager to get fucked again. I rubbed my cock against her clit and then thrust my cock into her pussy. The bride-to-be was watching as we fucked. I could see that she wanted to also fuck but was trying to not cheat on her fiancé. I was about to come and Amanda wanted me to fill her pussy with my cum. I tried to pull out of her pussy but she wouldn't let me. My cock burst with a stream of cum that shot deep into her pussy. She was the third one that had taken my load of cum in her pussy. I hope that nobody gets pregnant. I laid on the bed and the girls were still licking the bride's pussy. The bed had become so wet. I wonder what the maid is going to say when she had to clean the room. I got up and threw on the robe. The girls were still enjoying each other. I had to get the 4 of them on video. Because no one would believe me when I told them what happened on my vacation. Best part is that it is only the 2nd day of my vacation. What is going to happen for the rest of it? Waking up after an amazing day of sex with 3 girls. I had to use the extra sheets that were in the closet for the bed. The other sheets had become wet from the girls. Heading down to get something to eat. I didn't hear any noise from the girls' room. They must be sleeping or already gone. I walked to a little restaurant and got breakfast. Sitting alone, I was thinking about how the last 2 days have been the best of this vacation. Looking through my phone at the photos that I had taken of the girls. I couldn't view the videos while there were people around. Looking around the restaurant, I could see that it was busy. There was a line of people waiting. I was seated at a table for two. And the host approached me to ask if it would be possible for someone to join me. I replied that it was okay. So she turned to the other single diner and she approached the table. I got up as she sat down. I introduced myself to her. She in turn introduced herself. We chit-chatted and she asked me what I had ordered. I told her and she decided to also get that. As the waitress approached the table to take her order, I was being served my order. Although she had ordered the same thing, she got her eggs cooked differently. As I ate, we continued to make small talk. She was from Texas. I told her I was from Boston. She was here on vacation as well. I told her about my divorce and how I really wanted to come back to San Francisco and that I was ready enjoying this trip. I didn't mention anything about the girls. Her breakfast was being served as I was about halfway done. We discussed where we were going to go after breakfast. I was going to walk to Coit Tower. She was also planning on going there as well. So we decided to go together. Through the whole time talking, I forgot to introduce myself to her. I laughed and said that I guess I forgot to mention my name to you. It is Steve, she said. That was Janet. I finished my meal and waited for her to finish. I excused myself to use the restroom to clean up. I also took the time to pay for both of us even though I didn't have to. I walked back to the table and she was done. She looked for the waitress to get her bill to pay. I informed her that I had taken care of it. She thanked me and we headed out of the restaurant. We chatted as we walked through the city and up some big hills to get to where we were headed. After leaving Coit Tower, we headed to get something to eat for lunch. Janet offered to pay since I paid for lunch. She guided us through Chinatown and a restaurant that she had been to before and really liked the food. As we were seated and given our menus, Janet told me that she would order for us. I guess I will trust you then. And I was surprised when she ordered in perfect Chinese. Even the waiter seemed surprised when she ordered. I had only met this woman at breakfast and now she was ordering our lunch in Chinese. We chatted while we waited for lunch. I was really impressed with what she had ordered for us. Everything was really good. After eating, we chat for a few minutes. The waiter brought over the check and Janet took it. The waiter seemed confused when she did. But he didn't say anything. Just gave me a quick smile. We didn't eat the fortune cookies until after we had left the restaurant. We checked out a couple of stores and chatted and browsed, looking at souvenirs. I wanted to grab a magnet for my fridge. Janet grabbed a couple of items for her family. As we left the store, we headed towards the pier. We had been chatting with each other since breakfast and through lunch. It was like we had known each other for years. We had so much in common and she also had a great sense of humor. And she was as sarcastic as I was. We stopped at different places to take pictures. She asked me to take a photo of her in front of one of her favorite places. She asked someone to take a photo of us. She put her arm around my waist. It was so comforting that she wanted to take the photo of us together. She said she will text me a copy of it. We continued to walk and talk. And take at the sights of the water and the architecture of San Francisco. I really liked the free spirit that she was. She seemed to do whatever she wanted. We stopped and bought a couple of drinks and continued to walk. When we came to Pier 39, she wanted to go see the sea lions. Making our way through the crowds and smelling the food that was cooking in the many restaurants. As we viewed the sea lions, she turned to me and, not saying anything, she gave me a kiss on the lips. I hadn't been kissed like that in a long time. I was so happy that she had done that. I kissed her as well. After viewing the sea lions, we sat on a bench overlooking the bay and a view of Alcatraz. She definitely was not afraid of public displays of affection. We kissed passionately as we sat on the bench. I still couldn't believe that this is someone that I had met this morning. We decided to head back to our hotels. She was staying at a hotel that is just across the street from the one that I was staying at. She suggested that we go to hers. I agreed, figuring if we went back to mine we may run into the girls next door. I had looked into staying at this hotel but decided to go with the one that I had stayed at in the past. We sat in the lobby for a while and then she asked if I wanted to go upstairs to her room. I nodded yes. It was hard to say anything since she was kissing me at the time. We continued kissing in the elevator. And she opened the door to her room. She was kissing me as we entered and we walked in. She then pushed me down onto the bed. She undid my belt and unzipped my pants and pulled my cock out. She immediately began to suck on my cock. I know it was just yesterday that I had my cock sucked, but this time it felt amazing. Janet definitely knew what she was doing. As I was enjoying her sucking my cock, I wanted to see her naked and make love to her. I felt that I was going to come. She took her mouth off my cock and she got above me and she grabbed my cock and guided it into her pussy. She rode my cock and I tried to match her by thrusting into her. We changed positions and she wanted me to come inside her pussy. As she once again rode my cock, I sent a load of cum deep into her pussy. She stayed on top of me while my cock was still in her pussy. I know that I had fucked the girls next door the last couple of days. But this time it was different. Janet rolled over and next to me on the bed and we kissed passionately. It was like I had known her for a long time. We decided to order food from room service and stayed naked in her room. After eating dinner we sat on the couch and just kissed. I knew it was getting later. But Janet suggested that I stayed there tonight. We spent the night just making love. I couldn't believe that we had only met at breakfast and that there was an open seat at my table. I had 4 more days left in my vacation and we spent the time together, enjoying San Francisco together and seeing sights and just enjoying ourselves. I never did see the other girls that were in the next room again. They must have gone home. At the airport, as we were heading to different locations, we spent the time enjoying our last moments together. We agreed to meet up soon. I sat at the gate while I waited for my flight. We texted each other until she had to board her flight. I got one last text from her before she got on the plane. It was a selfie of her, with a sign saying that she will miss me. I quickly typed back that I to miss her. Back at work after the best vacation that I had ever been on, Janet and I continued to text. We were trying to figure out a plan to meet up sometime. I also got a text from a number that I didn't recognize. It was a photo of Vanessa. She was totally naked and holding a sign. It read, "I am pregnant. Thank you for this gift. I will never forget you." I didn't know what to do. I tried replying to her text but it came back that it was blocking my number. I tried to call but also got no response. A day or two later I got another message from Sherry, she also was pregnant. Man, what a vacation. Fell in love with Janet and got 2 girls pregnant. Once I got back to work, I had to schedule my next vacation so I could go visit Janet.